How can I recover in the cloud? The answer, once again, lies in the Unitrends Forever Cloud. Now, if you recall, Unitrends Forever Cloud is a site-to-cloud replication model with intelligence built into it. It allows us to have a simple pricing model based on what you store, and then immutable storage, and then we can help you get the data into and out of the cloud using a physical device and not be bound to your internet connection. When we take that building block of the Unitrends Forever Cloud and we add in the ability to spin up your systems in the Unitrends Cloud, that's where we have Unitrends Disaster Recovery as a Service, or DRaaS. Unitrends DRaaS is a managed DR solution that allows you to recover into a purpose-built DR cloud in the event of a disaster. What that does for you is give you a white glove service. That simply means that in the event of a disaster, you make a phone call and the Unitrends support team will spin up your systems. It's 100% managed DR that includes onboarding, VPN connectivity, as well as guaranteed resources. This also includes annual testing. So you will be able to test your VMs inside of the Unitrends cloud once a year, free of service, and then also run in the Unitrends cloud for 30 days. It is an SLA-based service that is based on, the cost is based on the level of availability as well as the resources on the VMs. This SLA brings us to the industry's only 1 hour guaranteed spin up, which gives you weekly hands-free testing and automated reports for recoverability. So let's take a look at it from an up-close perspective. So once again, to review a little bit about the Unitrends cloud, you remember that we start out with the local appliance, whether it's physical or virtual. We're going to use intelligence with hot target replication to move that data into the Unitrends cloud, where we get to talk about the fact that it's automated, offsite, and immutable. We can also apply cloud retention, where we can maintain the data based on buckets from anywhere from 90 days to an infinite retention. This is all a simple cost model based on how much you protect and how long you store it. And with that, we also give you the ability to be able to send the data into our cloud using a NAS device, or out of the cloud utilizing one of a Unitrends appliance that we have actually replicated to, and then we ship you that appliance, and then you recover into the environment. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what this looks like when we think about DRaaS. Now, I'm going to draw you a crazy little picture here, but it helps to illustrate this. I call this my Unitrends DRaaS wedding cake. So we start at the foundation layer where we have the appliance. He's going to be the real foundation. He's going to be the piece that allows us to make all of this happen. He's the workhorse. He collects, he compresses, he transmits. He's going to transmit into the Unitrends Forever Cloud, once again, where we're maintaining that storage and immutable copy. When we add DR on top of that, we are now looking at a full stack where we're going to be able to give you the capability of restoring individual files as well as recovering in systems into the Unitrends cloud. Now, with that being said, keep in mind that this is a white glove service. With this being white glove, what that means is you're going to go through an onboarding process where we document what DR needs to look like. We identify the systems, the timeline, the order, all of that information is documented and recorded. The goal of the white glove service is that when you have that really bad day, you simply make a phone call and we will start spinning them up according to the documentation. Now, an important part of this is that we also have you covered in the event that you want to test. Every DR plan should be tested and should be tested at least annually. And so we are going to provide an annual DR test at no additional cost. Also think about the fact that running inside of our cloud has 30 days included without any additional cost. In the event that you do go over those 30 days, and in the landscape that we live in today, replacing hardware will likely take more than 30 days. There's some things that we can do with you working with your account management team to be able to manage those costs on a per VM basis while you procure your new hardware. Part of that documentation that we're going to do is that we're going to look at all the VPN options and document them that you and your organization are going to need so that you can connect into the Unitrends cloud. Now, at the heart of this, the Unitrends cloud has got a dedicated cloud firewall that you will either connect into using an SSL VPN client, where this is where your end users can connect in and then access the resources that have been restored into the Unitrends cloud. Or we can do IPsec tunnels where you will have sites that will traverse a dedicated tunnel using a dedicated static public IP address on the other end and a pre-configured IPsec tunnel. Finally, the last part of this is that this is an SLA-based service. With that SLA-based service, we're going to be able to provide you guaranteed spin up and then guaranteed resources. The SLAs begin with a 1-hour guarantee. We call this premium. We also have a 24-hour guarantee. This is elite. And then we have a per terabyte cost that is a best effort that we call standard. So let's take a closer look at these SLAs in a table that will kind of outline what we've got going here. So once again, we start with standard DRAS. This is a best effort SLA. The great thing about the standard DRAS is the fact that it is unlimited number of VMs. So just like you consume the Forever Cloud in a per terabyte model, we can consume standard DRAS in a per terabyte model, and you get as many VMs as fit in that. So if you were to go to a 10 terabyte contract, it doesn't matter if that's 1 VM or 10 VMs with standard DRAS, they would all be covered. Now, thing to keep in mind with standard DRAS is that it is a fairly manual process. When you call, we're going to pull out the documentation, we're going to execute that documentation, and we're going to spin those systems up and make them available. It is a best effort SLA, which simply means there's not a guarantee, but the timeline of restoration is acceptable when we're looking at systems that need to be up in 24, 36 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, but there's not a guarantee on it. When we want to be able to guarantee that spin up, we need to move into talking about elite and premium DRAS. So elite is a 24-hour guaranteed spin up and premium is a 1-hour guaranteed spin up. You'll notice in the third line down there, we talk about the guaranteed 24-hour recovery with recovery assurance. Now, recovery assurance is part of the feature set that comes in the Unitrends appliance. If you think about this idea of testing your backups and then utilizing that test as an automated recovery template, that's what recovery assurance does for us. What we do with this is we use recovery assurance inside of the Unitrends cloud on our infrastructure. So we run a regular test. That test will also serve as our recovery template. So in the event that you need to recover, all that you have to do is make a phone call and we execute a predefined job. The 1-hour SLA is also going to be utilizing recovery assurance to make that happen. We'll use a few other tricks that we have up our sleeve that are called replicas, where basically this is a dynamic standby copy. The idea is that we have a fully hydrated copy of your VM that we update every time we run a backup. And when you need it, we have to simply power it on utilizing the recovery assurance job. When we put this in perspective, what we're really doing is we're making sure that we can meet that recovery time objective that is 1 hour by simply making it that all we have to do is power on the system and make it available to you. If you'll notice, the second line from the bottom talks about a maximum machine size. So each one of the SLAs comes with a guaranteed set of resources for each VM. Those guaranteed set of resources range from 8 gigs per VM on standard, all the way up to 128 gigs per VM on premium. Now, when you look at this and you think about that there is going to be a cost difference between the 3 levels, obviously those resources need to come into play as well. Please make sure that you communicate with your sales engineer and your account representative, what you're looking for and what you need. There are some options in there where we can take a system that might require a great deal of RAM and then put them on a lower SLA and thus control the cost. Those are all things that you just need to speak up and we can help make happen. So in closing, the Unitrends DRAS is a fully managed DR service that's going to allow us to basically spin up your environment, allow your users to connect to it, and then allow you to have the confidence that you could utilize that environment in the event of a really bad IT day. It's going to include testing and running in the cloud, and it's all built around the industry's only SLA-based service where we can guarantee a 1-hour spin up. Thank you.